What is happening, everybody? It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's time for Proper Royals Live. I got some new lighting. I figured I'd try a little different hue, a little less pink in my purple. It's a little more lavender this week, you know? I'm just killing time. Let me know what you think of the lighting. Hey, welcome to the show. We got Sampson from Just One More Exotics. Sampson's been at it for quite a while, and I think he's coming up with like 5,000 followers on Instagram. Dude knows what he's doing, and I'm excited to hang out with him and see what we can learn and meet a new colleague in the industry tonight. And I know a bunch of y'all were at Tinley this weekend. I'm highly jealous. I want to hear about that. I don't know if I'm just like more engaged in the community now, and I just happen to know more people, but it looked like a really like intimate show of like cool hangouts and people getting together. If you guys were there, I know Steven. I know Steven was. I know that Gershon was up there. Some guys from my neighborhood, my neck of the woods, Keys, they were there. So anyhow, I'd love to hear about it. And like I say, maybe it's just that I've gotten to know more people in the hobby. I'm sorry, this will drive me nuts for the rest of the show. I've got to straighten my camera because that's all messed up behind me. And then we're going to get started. That's so much better. All right, guys, I'm going to bring on Sampson, and we're going to get going. Thank you all for being here tonight. I don't know, we're coming up on like 30 weeks of live streams in a row. So thank you all for being here. You all are the ones that give me the staying power. Otherwise, I could just do this in front of a mirror. So thank you all very much. So check out Sampson here. Sampson, how are you tonight? And welcome. Samson, can you hear me? You're on, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to mute it.
Oh, no problem. How are you tonight, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I am very, very good. So Just One More Exotics. Brilliant name, man. Like there would be all the reasons in the world to say like, I don't know, does it flow? Is it too wordy? No, it's perfect, man. I love it. I love it. So give us the 30-second like introduction. What do you have going on, and what's kind of your thing, man?
Mainly is just I'm trying to build my doubles and triple recessives, but
now you're speaking my language there.
Yeah, I got a double visual chocolate hypo desert ghost that I can't wait to put to some pieds and some clowns.
Yeah,
and then I just picked up this super inchy acid leopard pastel pinstripe male. So just trying to make sure that when I do my pairings that they're meaningful to me, not just because I don't have a big collection, so I'm trying to make sure that everything flows together.
Yeah, we were talking some about that. I mean, it's a little bit crazy that 40, 50, 60 snakes isn't that big of a collection. On the other hand, a lot of the people that I've talked to have always said like, man, I could just have one project in a whole ARS 50/40. And so I feel you that, and how do you go through that? I mean, how do you weigh the value of each slot in there? And do you find yourself just buying what you need to skip some things, or how do you do it?
So what I plan on doing is I plan on just making my triple heads myself. Mm-hmm. So the 40 snakes that I have right now probably would never go anywhere. And then just buy. I don't want to go over 200 females. So my max
200
is 200 females. Yeah, I don't want to go over that.
So you got a little ways to go.
Oh yeah, but I plan on making it myself. So it's going to be a slow grow. Like I want to be like Ozzy, but with like a Justin swag, I guess. Because when I went to Justin's facility, I was amazed on like how many snakes he had.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
To me, that's a lot. Now, if I had somebody else working with me, I would do it. But for the most part right now, I just definitely don't want to go over 200.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how I would handle that by myself, to be honest, at this point, but you've got more time and experience than I do. So would you say you have around 40 right now?
Yeah, it's about 60.
Oh, 60. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I have about 20 females that could go this year, but I'm The snakes that have went 2 years in a row, besides the double het pastel, I gave them the year off because for some reason they just wouldn't get back on food this year like they did the year before.
Yeah. Yeah. So you did 2 years and then 1 year off?
Well, I'm doing that at least with one of the females. My inchy citron clown I'm doing it with. She didn't I changed the tub and everything and she didn't get back on food for like a good 2 months. So
Huh.
her body condition isn't where I want it to be.
Right. Right. So before we get too far down too many rabbit holes, how long have you been at this? How long is this for you?
I have been collecting since 2017. I've been keeping since I was 12, 13. I still have my first snake in the rack. He'll be 19 this year.
Yeah. What year did you get him?
2002, 2003 from
I
Petco.
thought it was a hatchling.
Yeah, I got him from Petco, and I wouldn't. It was under 100 grams, that's for sure. Because now that I'm looking back at it, he was
Yeah.
small. But
Yeah.
he
Too
ate as
small.
soon as I got him home. He ate. I had him in a 55-gallon tank. I didn't know what to do.
Exactly.
So,
I had two in college, and the pet shop. It was a reptile store in Gainesville, Florida, and they've been there forever. I haven't been back to Gainesville in a long time. I don't know if they're still there or not, but they definitely sold me two normals, and were like, "Yeah, 55 gallons, plenty big for the two of them. They'll have a good time." And I was like, "Can I make them something to climb on? Like, I want them to like have space to roam." And he was like, "Yeah, that's cool. You could do." So I made this like chicken wire top thing with like branches going up everywhere, and it didn't go well. I ended up, obviously, that's not how they're made to live and enjoy themselves, as we now know. But yeah, okay, so 19, 20 years ago, you get the Petco ball python.
but then I went back, got 5 more because I wanted to breed them, and I put
Mm-hmm.
so instead of having them in a 55-gallon tank, I switched the 55-gallon tank out, got a 40-gallon breeder, and put all 7 of them in the same tank. And then I pull each one out, put it in a box, feed it individually, and put them all back in the same tank. And thinking next year, oh, I'll have babies,
Yeah,
not knowing what I was doing. So about a year into it, my mom told me I can only keep one. So,
yeah,
and then we went to the pet store. I traded those 5 for a Colombian boa that was mean.
yeah.
Mean
Hey,
as
how did it go with? I mean, with the you. Not that I'm suggesting this for the record,
yeah.
everybody. I don't
It was
for a second think it's a good idea, but moving them into different places to feed, did that allow them to to cohabitate better?
now looking back at it, they were just fighting for heat. They
Yeah.
would just
Oh,
stack on each other and just lay and lay because I didn't have underbelly heat. I just had the lamp on the
yeah.
top.
Oh, I
And
got you.
but uh like everybody else, I was told to move the snakes to feed them. I never had a problem with regurgitations or anything like that, but I
Right.
still wouldn't suggest doing it. It's not something. If I would have known back then, I would definitely wouldn't have did it.
Yeah. And I feel like, and we don't want to. I don't care to
Yeah,
rehash this topic, but I do feel like if the snake starts feeling like every time you touch it, you're going to feed it, it eventually is going to come up with a feed response to you sticking your hands in there, which is actually something I'm finding from the snakes that I've just recently bought and that are in these tubs. Man, they expect when that tub opens, they expect food there. And man,
especially if you're not holding them. So what I do is I seen somebody else do this on YouTube. What I do is I'll go through on feeding day. I'll go through and just run my hand down the rack.
mm-hmm.
So and then I'll knock like that because some girls. I mean, I have a 3,000-gram girl from Justin. Actually, it's right here. I
Yeah,
open this. She'll tag my hand every time, and I mean,
yep.
I'll try to like tuck it under and do it, and she'll still go around on my arm and grab me.
That's
So
the first time in ever that I've ever been bitten was opening that rack within the past 10 days. That one of those big girls got me, man. And like it was her telling me to back off. So I mean, she got me a little bit, but it wasn't, she didn't latch on or try and eat it or anything or wrap. But I was like, this is totally different. So anyhow, I'm trying to get them a little more socialized from being just pure breeders to, I want my 9-year-old son to be able to help out and clean eventually, and that kind of sooner than later, ideally. So Okay, so then you have the hatchling, you get the boa. What year are we at now? Like 15 years
2000.
ago?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was about 2005 because I went to the Sacramento Reptile Expo in 2007 and got another boa, thinking that it needed a friend,
Oh yeah,
and no,
that didn't need a friend.
no, and they grew so fast. Like I wasn't expecting because so it was 2 years. I had Spike for 2 years, and then I got the boa. That boa outgrew Spike in 6 months, and
Mm,
I fed it once a week, just like I did. And my mom was like, "You're scared of it? It's got to go." Because it was
yeah,
worse than a green tree python, to be honest with you. I'd go to the cage, it hiss at me.
yeah.
So,
And
but
then, so when did the like the full fixation with ball pythons come?
I started off in boas.
Oh,
So
okay.
I spent about 15 grand and like 7 boas, and then once I got an adult motley female, and once I realized how big they got, and my fiance was having our son at the time, and I was having trouble cleaning her enclosure by myself, and I was like, I got to get rid of them because if I can't handle them myself, I don't want to do it. So I end up selling the boa collection off to start. Actually, I bought these 2 racks with the money, and then I bought a few ball pythons, and then that's really how it started. But yeah, I wanted to do boas in the beginning, but then after I realized how strong they were, and once I got tagged by a baby and it hurt worse than an adult ball python, I was like, yeah, this,
Well, and you had a baby coming in the world too. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
I saw some video today where, one of the classic, I don't know if it was a tick or if it was a boa or what, but, comes out, grabs the lady's arm, starts rapping.
oh yeah, I seen
And,
that video. It's
yeah.
because
And,
they had a rat, they were breeding rats in the same room, and it was a retic.
oh, well,
Yeah,
whatever. I mean, if it takes two people to get your pet off of you and you're truly concerned for your life, it's
yeah,
maybe not a good match, or you need something specialized or whatever. Anyhow, I'm with you is what I'm saying. I'm not knocking her or whatever she needs, but yeah, everybody says the clear tubs, and I get it, you guys. You're not wrong. My last the rack system my DIY racks had clear tubs. The problem is to get a whole new set of clear tubs is another $1,000, man. Like,
yeah.
yeah, one
I,
day.
I personally, especially for ball pythons, I wouldn't even go with clear tubs. Like I had clear tubs in the beginning because I used to do what High Desert did, or I think it was him, where he just ambient temperature the room to 85 to 89 degrees and just left it
Mhm.
like that. And I noticed with these darker tubs that they eat better feeding response. And
My racks were clear. I mean, up until 2 weeks ago, they were clear.
mhm,
I was fine with them, and I did like seeing what I had going in. But I
yeah,
don't do. I don't do my ambient. I keep it 80 in my room, and honestly, in the afternoons, it'll get up to 83 or 4. So I mean, they can feel the temperature change
mhm.
here in Florida, but I, I don't mind it. I don't think it's a problem. And I've got a hook. It's not like I have my hand there every time. Like you take one
Yeah.
shot. Yeah, I get the message.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know certain ones I have to like open it up, take a step back, let them strike, and then because I feed frozen thawed also, and sometimes I won't notice that the water cooled down, and so then I'll wonder why they're going after my hand because the rats aren't warm enough. So
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and I use tongs when I
I do
feed too.
too.
Do you hold them in your hand when you feed, or use
No,
tongs?
no, I
Okay.
use tongs. Yeah.
All right. Gotcha. Um, all right. So I gotta ask. Like we were talking. It's so funny. People don't realize offline. There's no way that they would know. So Sampson and I met briefly yesterday. We did a little run through on video camera setup and all of that. But truly, I try not to meet the guests before they come on the first time because the introductions are here. But one thing I told Sampson was like, all right, man, I promise you it's not just going to be like, here's 19 questions. Like we'll hang out, we'll just have a good time and have a conversation. But I got a couple questions. So
Okay.
tell me the story of, like, along with your name, which I really like. Your logo is a snake wrapped around a blimp.
Yes.
What's the story with the blimp, man? Give us,
So
because it's so unique. It's cool.
so Akron used to be back in the day, the rubber capital of the world,
Yeah.
which is Goodyear.
Yeah.
So
Goodyear. Yep.
so my font is actually the Goodyear blimp font. So, and the blimp is actually the Goodyear blimp.
That's
And
cool.
I wanted something to do with Akron without people really knowing. And you're actually like the first person to ask me, and I'm like, yes, finally, I get to explain it. Like, so I remember as a kid with my grandmother watching the blimp all the time.
Yeah.
So I wanted something personal to me
Right.
for a logo, and I was like, oh, it's perfect. Let's just have them strangle on the blimp
Yep.
instead of a rat.
No,
And
it's very
so
cool.
that's the concept behind my logo is that
Nice.
is
I love
the
the
Goodyear.
personal story and the personal touch on it. I thought the best I could come up with was that you were a Led Zeppelin fan, because that the first Led Zeppelin one is the Hindenburg after it catches fire, and I was like, maybe he's doing a play on Led Zeppelin one. That'd be cool. I don't know, but I like your story, man.
Yeah.
My proper Royals. So when I first started, and I was like, I need a brand. I was working in person. I still work for the property now, but I was working in person for this. It's not specifically a retirement community, but it's people not my generation predominantly that live there. And I lived there and I worked there. I ran all the restaurants and the food and beverage operation there, and weddings and concerts. And so I interacted with these folks a lot, and like they're notorious for finding me on Facebook or they want to chat and be buddies outside of work. And I'm like, they're fine people, but they're not those are two different worlds. And I was like, they're going to find out I got snakes in my basement up here in North Carolina, and they're going to lose it. They're going to be like, Adam has cobras. He can't work here. He can't live here. And I don't have cobras. And that's just what their perception would be. And so I was like, with obviously we probably know in the audience, but royal pythons or ball pythons are called outside of the United States generally.
Mm-hmm.
My middle name is Royal as well. And I was like,
oh, wow.
I got to do something with royals. It was my grandmother's maiden name. All the boys in my family take the grandmother that gave up her name. They take their middle name. So I was like, all right, royals done right. How do I do proper royals there? I was like, these folks will never know anything of what I'm doing, of going on, so that's where mine came up with.
Sorry, I kicked one of my kids' toys. I was like, ooh.
So you're up to how many? So you said you had a fair number that you gave the year off. How many clutches will you have this year?
I'm around 15.
15. Nice.
I could have 20 if these two puzzle girls go. So, but I'm hoping that I only have like 11 to 12, because even though I lost a lot of eggs last year, it was a lot even with just 12. So I wouldn't mind it, but at the same time I wouldn't be disappointed if I only hit 10 or 11.
Yeah, I'm wrestling with that a little bit. I definitely had some moments last year. I was like, holy crap, look at the amount, and that was with 2 clutches. Now, I didn't have the tubs that I could just pull out. I had latching tubs, so that takes more time. I didn't have my sink. I didn't kind of have my rhythm down, and I didn't really quite know what I'd done all my research, but I hadn't done it yet, and then once you learn, I think it goes quicker.
Research when it comes to feeding hatchlings or raising hatchlings, you can do all the research you want. It's hands-on.
It's that first year, right?
Because I feed frozen thawed no matter what. Yeah. So even the hatchlings, when they come out, I'll have hatchlings wait about 4 to 6 weeks if they don't eat, and then I'll assist feed once, and usually after that they'll go.
So you go straight to frozen thawed on the hatchlings. What's your, not to turn this into a feeding, video or debate, which I don't want to debate, but what's your strategy on getting the hatchlings? I mean, I would love that myself. It's just not convenient for me to go get live animals.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know in one of them you were saying you do the live and then switch over, but so you just got to make sure that it's hot as your water or go.
Yeah.
But what I do is I make sure that the smalls and the mediums are in there too, because if you get it too hot too quick, they explode. I don't know if you.
The little ones will, yeah.
Yeah. So what I usually do is I'll do a thawing with all of them, and then once that happens, I'll run another hot water over it again, and then come feed. And I feed the hatchlings first because it's the hottest, and then I'll go over to these. But I noticed that the adult rats actually scent the wing, because I try to get mine on weans as soon as I can. If it leaves a bulge, if it makes them huge, if they'll eat it, that's fine. I rather, because I believe they need that calcium from the more mature bones than they will with the pinkies.
Okay.
I think the bone development is what puts weight on your snakes. I could be wrong, but I've noticed it. So
Yeah.
and that's usually how I do it. I usually feed 2 or 3 pinkies, and then instantly I go straight to a wean.
Right. I got you on that. And when you thaw, do you thaw from frozen
Yes.
into the water? Okay. See, I thaw mine overnight in the fridge, and then I pull them out to room temperature, and then I bring them up actually on the oil register heater. I've got a
I tried that too. The
I
oil
love it, man.
register.
I've got my system worked out. I don't recommend it. It's taken me a year, but I got it figured out now.
It scared me though, because I didn't want the water getting into the electronics of it, because I wasn't thinking, and I'm like, oh, I'll just pull them straight out the water, and then I seen it dripping down, and I'm like, oh, I gotta be smarter than that.
But see, I don't use water at all. I use a tub with a lid on it, and I stick the whole tub with the lid on it right on the register heater, set to medium, about 107 degrees. I pull them off of there, and
see,
bam.
I had green tree pythons, and the only reason I feed with water is because of the green tree pythons. Sometimes they don't drink, and the only water that they'll get is the water that is off the prey item from being thawed.
I know a lot of people said that they use it for the hydration benefits. I might have to try it especially with some of my real ferocious ones. Maybe I'll see what's up with that.
I was also thinking about because people with HOTS, they put like calcium pills in the rats.
When you say HOTS, what does that mean?
Venomous.
Oh, okay.
Like rattlesnakes,
right?
That type. And I noticed that they put like a vitamin supplement in the rat and then feed their snakes. So I was thinking about maybe trying that, like because I have calcium for my I have an Asian water monitor from Nerd.
Yeah.
And I put that on them, because I don't have what is it, UBV? I supplement my calcium with powder.
Okay.
And so like I'll put the fuzzy in there and roll it around and feed them. I was thinking about trying that with the ball pythons, but it's one of those things, if it's not broke, I don't really want to.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like I've come to the comfort and conclusion. Like there's enough people in the hobby doing stuff and trying stuff. Like I'm probably going to stick with tried and true for a little. It's probably a little early out of the gate for me to go like blazing new trails. Like I'm sure there's something innovative out there, but I should probably learn like the way first before I go learn, trying to start new things,
Yeah. I keep my room lower than most people too. I mean, I keep I'm in the basement, and I keep it at natural temperatures. Like, so it's what, 75 down here right now?
Oh yeah.
And then
it stays moderated in the basement though, right?
I mean, it's hooked up to the furnace and everything. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but I've never, ever since I switched off of ambient temperature, I've never ran my room over like 75 degrees.
I got you.
And I've never had a clutch. I've never had a slug, and I've never had. Actually, I take that back. I've had one slug out of 12 clutches or 15 clutches in 2 years. So I don't know if it's because I don't know if I'm just lucky or.
Right.
But
yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to know with the limited sample size, and it takes a year to get another sample from the same one, and that's if it comes. I keep my back belly heat. I keep that closer to 87, 88 versus up around 90. And then I keep my room at I think the thermostat's actually set at 77. And then here in Florida, the afternoon temperatures drive it up.
Surprisingly, when I was at Justin's, he keeps his hotspot at like 90, or his thermostat at like 98.
98?
Yeah, it was like, I want to say it was like anywhere between, I've seen it anywhere between 91 and 98. And then I heard some people actually keep it at 100.
Whew. I don't know, man. That seems.
No.
That seems a little
hot
rough
for me. Yeah, but I mean, his temps were way up there though when I was looking.
So I only had 2 of my 4 breeders last year go, but the eggs were no slugs. All of them developed perfectly. They were great. Rob M says 77. I'm pretty much sweating. That is the just the rodent, just the reptile room, not the room. There's a room inside this room, so just the micro heated area is where I'm
You got
at.
a bladder room, almost.
Yeah, just the heated area. Yeah, I'm with Chip says 98 would freak me out, man. That would freak me out a little bit too. Hey, I want to say everybody, thanks to everybody watching. I was a little amped up at the beginning of the show, but a bunch of faces that I recognize. I see y'all, and I see some new faces too. Thanks to anybody that was checking out Sampson's page and came to check out the show tonight. I really appreciate y'all being here. We do this every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Almost always a guest, and generally different guests. We've got the next few weeks coming up. I got Jesse Music next week from Musical Pythons, and then Michael from Herp Collectors. And then April 19th, Charlie from Reagan Renee, and the 26th, Mark from British Columbia Ball Pythons. British Columbia Balls, excuse me. So I'm actually booked up until May, which is incredible. So thank you all. And like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't be able to do it without the audience. So I really appreciate everybody. And thank you all for being here. I see some local guys too. Tradesman, how you doing tonight, man? Thanks for joining the show every week. I appreciate seeing you. So tell me, what's your, Sampson, what's your, if there is a way, what's your preferred selling method? I see that you're on Morph Market, but it doesn't look like there's much history there. Do you sell through Instagram, local? What's your angle?
It just depends. Like my normals, as long as they're not like double heads, I'll go to a pet store. I'd rather just off what I can if it's just a single het or something that's not
the old time value equation. Yeah.
And especially if maybe I'll go there, do a trade and they'll have cocoa or something, and I'll be like, something like that.
Yeah.
But mainly Morph Market and Instagram have been the 2 ways that I sell.
Okay.
Actually, there's Sal at Lakeshore. He's from Cleveland. He actually picked up like 6 snakes from me this year, and I picked up like 3 from him. So that, and like I have collabs with Reggie. I have a double het DG pied from him. I'm just waiting to hit a dreamsicle so I can send it to him.
Okay.
And so mainly I'm more of a bargaining person when it comes to other people. Like I'd rather somebody sit on my snake until I see something that you have, and then like, oh yeah, let me get that.
Yeah.
That's my main thing, because my projects are pretty much like everybody's in them, like DG pied or DG hypo pied. Because like I know when I go with my quads, I'm putting a dreamsicle to my Desert Ghost hypo just to see, so
got to try, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah. So on the sort of the spectrum, if there is a spectrum of hobby to business, you're focused more on your own enjoyment and growing what you want to see there. So, well, that makes perfect sense on the on the bargaining and the negotiating and the looking for those deals and those angles that way on that. How many, what's your like growth plan, man? That was a kind of a shocking number or a surprising number when talking about going from 40 to 200 females. What kind of space are you working with, and what's that growth plan?
Oh, I have this whole basement. This whole basement's, I don't know, probably the size of a 4-car garage.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have the room. It's just more of, I initially put, well, if you add the racks and the snakes and everything, around 200,000 so far I've spent.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so it, and some of it was my own, some of it, I have gotten, got over on a snake, or if on a breeder loan or something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody I thought I knew.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's been like a learning curve for me, because like I'm a real giving person, like so it's like so it's just been, I'd rather not worry about the money aspect until I'm actually to the point where I feel comfortable with what I have and what I'm breeding. Because you can always level up, you could always get that next thing, but I'm trying to produce, like I said, stuff that I want to see. Like not a lot of people want to see a visual hypo DG lavender pied, but I think it'd look cool, you know? Like
Right.
I I don't know. It's because what I'm chasing is what I want. It's hard to sell, you know, stuff that nobody wants. So my business plan has always been to get there within the next 5 to 7 years where I'm
Okay.
actually like really profitable off of it.
I see. I see. No, and I don't. I hope I don't come across as any sort of judgment of that, or like a hobby is anything different, because you're killing
Oh
it.
no.
The stuff you're talking about, and that you have an opportunity to hit dreamsicles and that sort of thing. So it's not that. It's two different. How the way you're talking about snakes is the way that I talk about guitars. Like
Yeah.
I can, all right, I'm gonna get this one. There'll be somebody someday that wants that, or or hey man, I got this, but I don't play it as much, but you got that. And that's how the local musician community really is, with guitars. And that is how I go after guitars for sure, that way.
Yeah, my thing is this has literally been a dream since I was in middle school and I got my first snake. So for me, the money aspect, yeah, is nice because I'd like to get my money back.
Right.
But at the same time, I love if say that God forbid, but say that Lacey Act passed and we couldn't do it, I'd still be fine. I'd be fine with what I have. You know, I'll go underground if I have to,
Yeah.
and keep them and breed them for myself, but I do understand that it can be a business and I would love for it to be a business, but it's different when, you invest money. Just because you invest a lot of money doesn't mean that you're going to make the business the next couple years.
That's right. And
So,
that's a really, really good point. And a lot of people, all right, so this might not win me some friends, but and let me start by saying there's a million different ways to run a business, but you're exactly right. If you sink everything you got into it, just because you're sinking money into something doesn't make it a business.
right.
And I'm not even at the point where I can call it a business yet for me, because I'm not viable. If I were to say, hey, I got to make a profit, or I'm closing shop this year, I might be closing shop this year if that was the limitations I put on myself. So, I mean, that's why the branding is from hobby to business. And I also hear people, and people have knocked me when I'll say, no, I'll be taking money out. I want to see if I can do this instead of clocking into a day job in the next 2 years. I want to see if that can happen. Well, I have to take money out to pay bills, to eat, to live my life, to make it a substitution for work. And they're like, no, you have to put all your money back into the business. And I'm like, no, a business should provide for me. And I realized that there's millions of different nuances. There's millions of different priorities. There's millions of different combinations of snakes I could have bought up front, or market factors, or odds that we hit or miss kind of deal. But you raise a really, really good point. Just because you dump all the money in doesn't make it a business. I think that if you want to take a look at it as a business, not you personally in general, you have to look at both sides, the money in and the money out. And if that money in is going to be lower than the money out, you got to figure out how you're going to make it survive for that period until that money comes up,
And you can kind of see the difference between the people that are just in it to try to get, like, there's like three different types of people. There's people that just want to do it as a business. There's people that want it as a hobby, and then there's people that turn the hobby into a business.
Yeah.
So, like with me, it's always been a hobby, and I do want to turn it into a business one day. But when that time comes, it comes. It's not that I'm trying to rush it, because when you put it as a business, then it's all, you're all in then. And I'm not, there's no way even though I put that much money in, there's no way that I can support myself off the snakes at this point, because
Yeah.
I would want to hold too much stuff back, because
Right.
like I said, I plan on, I have 8 different projects, and I plan on just mixing those projects together to make double heads, triple heads, quad heads, and then so I probably won't really see anything. I don't know, like I said, for the next 5 to 7 years, even this year, because
Yeah,
I'm
and
holding stuff back or trading.
again, for everybody, it's different. I don't know what volume or magnitude or scale it would take for me to do it
Full
with
time.
just snakes. So,
Yeah.
and what's neat to me is what I'm learning on YouTube is applicable to my music. It's applicable to my day job. It's applicable to whatever, future dreams or future consulting I can do for people. So there's different ways to drive that between music. I'll also say everybody's point in life is different as far as like financially where they're at. I've had this same house now for 14 years. The mortgage is really relatively very low for me on it. My month-to-month expense is I've paid off my cars. I pay an electric bill and I pay this mortgage and I eat. That's mostly it. If the other stuff's extra for savings and fun. But that's much different than the life I was living even 5 years ago. So, everybody's needs are different and what they could get by on. Mine's a relatively low threshold. So you've been at this 5-ish years or so. What do you see of people that come and go versus the people that stay? I can see that. That's good. That's bringing a response right there. We hit on something here.
I've noticed that the most enthusiastic people are usually the ones that have good intentions, but like in the beginning, and then they get over their head because they see the combos. They're like, ooh, I want to get that instead of make it. I want to get that instead of make it. I want to get that instead of make it. Because most of the snakes, for the most part, you can buy. Like when it comes to doubles,
Right.
you can't buy a triple most likely, or you could buy triple heads to probably like $7,000, $10,000, but I've noticed that it's the people that usually keep their collection smaller in the beginning usually last longer because they don't get over their head.
Yeah.
But I've known a few people that like were doing breeding plans with people, and then they just get out the hobby, like, and it's like, well, where's their snakes? Oh, their snakes left with them in the hobby, like, so.
Yeah.
I have to say, even to this day, like a couple months ago, somebody on my Instagram was like, "Oh, we're getting rid of our collection." I'm like, "You started when I started. Like, really? Why?"
Yeah.
Like, I even.
How soon or long or short? Man, we just hit 50 people. Fantastic. Man, 840 is the sweet spot every week.
Yeah.
840 is like right when we blast off. 50 people on here. Thank you guys. That's amazing that there's 50 of you all here tonight.
Thank you guys.
And other people apologizing that they're just arriving, man. You guys don't have to apologize for
That's what
anything,
matters,
man. Yeah, this is amazing. So, what's I know that everyone's different, but
2 years.
Okay, so I was going to say,
mainly 2 years.
A nice way to go. All right, what's the crash and burn time?
It's crazy. It's like people have their first clutch or first clutches, and then by the next years, for the I say 50% of them, they're gone. It's like they got discouraged because they didn't get to sell the clutches at the prices they wanted, or they'll have a bad year with the incubator issue and they'll lose clutches, or they'll have slugs, and it's like that's the main thing is people don't see that initial investment after 2 years, and they're just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Man, I got to take 1 second. Con Worker 1, man, $20. Thank you very much. That will feed some ball pythons. I say it tongue in cheek. I use the super chats for the ball python, the rat fund. But thank you very much. Yeah, you guys didn't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I don't bring it up much, but thank you very, very much. I will keep at what I'm doing. I promise you. Thank you for that.
That's a part of it, though. That's just like Justin and Billy and all them having Patreon.
They got the Patreon, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all, in my opinion. At all. It's the people that have been in here for like 3 years or 2 years. Oh, I'm going to start a Patreon. It's like I don't even want to start a Patreon because I don't even think I know enough to even tell people. So
though, people will go on the journey with you is what I found, which is what's really, really amazing. Like the moment I got comfortable going, I'm here, I'll learn. I'm just me where I'm at. I'm allowed to just be starting and have 5 snakes or whatever I have. As soon as I got comfortable with that, the other stuff didn't, it became like so much easier just to be myself. And anyway, that was a nice aha moment for me. I see the common thread in the comments. I've talked with Kai at Lucas Landon Royals at length about it, making sure that not only, because we can all say, do your research, and we all know reality strikes and all the research in the world. When you got a snake flying out of the tub at you in the dark and you're holding a rat, all your research in the world don't matter.
It goes away, yeah.
Right?
Don't pull away when it bites you either. The teeth will rip out. Don't pull away. It's nope.
You gotta hold it, So
just it got me. No.
But growing at a pace where you're constantly improving and sort of mastering the little steps rather than going from here to here is what I've found. And the biggest times for me that those steps were the biggest were probably from like 3 ball pythons that I had in tanks, and then realizing, holy cow, there's tubs. And then I could go to like 8. Then I had like 8 or 9 in tubs, and that was manageable, except that in my room, I didn't have any cleaning facilities. So every morning before work, like I would be in a suit running outside, dumping the cocoa, flinging the poo into the yard. Then I got to go to the other room to wash it out. And then I didn't want to use the kitchen sink because that's where I'm eating, and I don't want to. So then I'm like, all right, spray bottles are the way. And all these little things are what you learn on the way versus, and God bless them. Good luck to anybody who can do it and who's got the staying power. But there was one guy in our chat one night, and maybe he's here. I don't mean to be offensive. I'm saying I don't get it. He said he spent $100,000 before he ever had his first clutch on inventory. I was like, I don't have $100,000, and maybe that's a good thing because I get pretty excitable. Like maybe I would do, I don't know, but I would not know how to take care of it. Now, I guess that could be 5 triple hets, but triple recessives, but I didn't get that impression.
It's not that hard to spend that money when you put stuff on layaway either. Like I had like 3 snakes at a time on a 6-month payment plan, so it's not, and I mean, it goes like this. Once you buy your first $1,000 snake or $1,500 snake, then you're just like, what's money?
Yeah.
Like I just paid a car for a snake. Like,
yeah, I haven't, I'm trying to, and I wouldn't mind sharing. I'm trying to, I actually have the list. I could tell you what my 2 most expensive, I bought a pair of triple hats for $1,500 together. So however you want to break them down, 1,005 or whatever.
I have 2. I have this, Justin's snakes just are expensive. So I paid, I want to say it was $2,700 for this pastel double het G-stripe Desert Ghost possible het clown. And then that DG chocolate pastel hypo I paid $3,000 for.
Yeah.
But that was 2 years ago from Bob Blue. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I'm not there. Although I will say, like, I came into a really, really good situation for me. There was a guy I had worked with before, and he got a promotion. He's buying a new house. He's moving. He said, man, I'm not taking the ball pythons with me. I'll take the corn snakes, but the rats and the ball pythons got to go. And I mean, I bought him out for, wholesale.
And you got good stuff.
I watched
the video.
Yeah. So, I mean, when that opportunity came, it really leveled me up big time. In theory, I mean, they could all be misses or God forbid. I mean, they could be, they're
what he sold them to you as.
Oh no, I believe that. I mean, from a health standpoint, I mean, there's always something, you don't really know until you know. But I knew the guy really well.
There's one thing I learned this season. So in the wintertime here in Ohio, the humidity sucks. So I used to spray the tubs down heavily once a week.
Yeah.
And one of my girls got an RI. And so what I did was I threw her in the incubator for 2 weeks, knocked the RI right out of her.
Really?
If you catch them early from what, and I didn't believe it, but if you catch it early enough, like where you barely see the bubbles and that,
Yeah.
you just throw them in the incubator, put some water in there for them, but it can't be damp, because I thought it was the cold that was doing it, or that did it. And somebody was like, no, it's the humidity. Your
Yeah.
humidity is too high. So I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense, seeing that I
Mhm.
mean, I sprayed it down to the point where it'd be dry. I mean, it'd still be a little damp by the next week. So that was one tip that I wanted to make sure that it got out there in the,
What temp did you set the
same as the hatchling that I incubate at 89.9.
that same 89? Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
So
it's good to know. I've been pretty good about, not pretty good. I've never had a sick snake that I know of, and certainly none that have died. I thought I was going to have a hatchling that didn't make it, and this girl is finally. Oh man, where's Anna and Chuck? They were like, they saw a video of her one time and were like, you need to name her Faith, man. She's going to make it, and I did, and she did. So that's kind of a fun story. But she eats like an animal now. She's fine now. But oh my, I bet I assist fed that animal 10 times, man. I was like,
with the frozen thawed, I had to I just had my last, so I had a super stripe, so it was a super stripe to my spot nose vanilla or fire clown. I only got, she had 6 eggs, only 3 of them made it, and it was 2 point, or it was 1.2. So 1 female, 2 male, or no, it's 2.1. 2 males, 1 female. And the female took off first, and the 2 males took a while. So it's been about 2 months with the 1 male I've been assist feeding every week, and finally he took a bigger meal and snatched it off the tongs and everything. I'm like, yes,
wow.
finally. I
Yeah.
always have one that it'd take almost half a year for it to get on the eating on its own. But you can tell the snakes, if you pay attention, you can tell which ones are babies and timid, where they're just like, oh, I'm just scared. I'm just scared. And then you have ones that are just like, no, I'm eating.
Yeah, those little aggressive hatchlings, I'll take them, man. I'll take the big fights for them to just go ahead and get their food,
Yeah.
So yeah, mainly morphs. I've been building my collection at my own pace. My pace is right for me because it's my pace. That is exactly right, and there's no further explanation needed from anybody. That doesn't ever need to be any more explanation than that. And it's also important to remember, like, these are live animals. You get in over your head with them, you're gonna be killing something that was living perfectly fine before you decided to get in and over your head and screw its life up. So, like, anyhow, yeah, go at your own pace and do what you can do and do it right, kind of thing. So,
and these snakes are bulletproof, man. Like Spike, for most of his life, he was on a person heating pad under his tank on medium.
Yeah,
I didn't know any different.
Right.
Yeah. And he had the carpet, the reptile carpet. I'd wash it with Dawn dish soap every week. And then it's funny. Here's a funny story. The first time the snake ever pooped, because I used to watch the snake all the time. He was on my dresser. I thought he was having a baby. I thought he was having babies.
Oh yeah.
I run to my mom. I'm like, Mom, the snake's having babies. Mom, come here. And by the time I got back, I seen the turd, and I was like, oh, the snake was pooping. Never mind, Mom. The snake's not having babies. Like, because it did. And then a lot of people don't know that an adult snake will fart like a grown person. Like, because my TV and my game system is right next to us, and I was down here the other day, and I just heard a big, like a fart, and I'm just like, what the? And then I heard it again. I'm like, wow, these snakes really fart like people. You can hear it. Like, I'm like, oh man.
I've only heard it once, but yeah, you're not overstating it. And the one I had was like shaking to get it. Like, she was up against the side of the tub, not with her head, like with her body, like working it out. And it's just anyway, I was like, what is going on in there? I was trying to think. I was like, did I put a male back in the wrong tub? Like,
I've done that.
Like, what happened?
I've done that too on accident.
Yeah, no, I've never have heard of it. I've never done it, but I was like, what is that? And then, you open the tub, you're like, oh my God, okay, I see what that was,
Well, before I had the little tags that you can see, because the little tags mean that there's a male in there with the female. I put I put 2 males in a tub one time, and yeah, they fight. Like you can hear it. They slam in their heads and
Yeah,
everything.
thunk,
I
yeah.
Yeah, I would suggest not doing it. And
No,
then I learned too. I bought a female. Well, what was supposed to be a female. I put a male in there with them. Next thing you know it, I hear that, and I'm like, oh well, here goes a male. Wow.
yeah, there's a
So
male. Yeah.
yeah.
So what are your what's your biggest like possible hit for this year that you're hoping for from your clutches?
um,
Or a couple?
I'm hoping to prove out this lesser ultramel pos het hypo, but I'm breeding a hypo puzzle tour. My whole thing is trying to make possible triple hets right now.
Okay.
So with ultramel puzzle, hypo, and DG mixed together and pied. But my main thing is I lost a lot of my dreamsicles clutch last year because of incubator issues.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that my pastel girl will lay me 11 eggs again, so I can try that again. And I have a
And is she's het pied het lav?
double het from Justin.
And you got her to another double het?
Yeah, leopard double het.
Okay, so you're going double het to double
The
het.
double het. And then
And
I
I'm
have
sorry, it's a leopard pastel dreamsicle double het dream.
so the females pastel double het dream, and then the male's a leopard double het. And then I have a black pastel that I won from Billy's Patreon.
Oh
That's
yeah.
possible. So she's a black pastel pied, possible het lavender that I'm trying to prove out. So those are the two where, because I love lavender and pied. So, well, that mixture together.
Yeah.
So I can't, that's my main thing. And then I said I wasn't, I know I just got done saying the Desert Ghost hypo just started like breeding. And I knew I said I wasn't going to do it, but the Inchy Clown girl, I've been like, oh, should I put the hypo DG with her just to see? Like, I know her body, because it's not bad. And I'm like, she's going to slug out on me. I don't even want to do it because she's the only one that's a visual recessive that I haven't paired this year.
Oh, why would you say
because
she's gonna slug out on you? Because too late, or she's too small, or what?
it's just too small.
Oh yeah.
I like her body. I mean, she doesn't have like you. Instead of having that circle like this, it's kind of like this.
It's still that
but
way.
it's
Yeah.
but it's not like deep where it's bad. So I'm like, man, I wish I would have known that he was going this year, because I would have just erased all the the lavender project and just went with him to the pieds, to my pied females, and to the pastel girl.
Gotcha.
But there's no telling that he was gonna, because it's been 2 years and he's just now starting. So, but yeah, it's mainly the lavender and the DG project, and in my DG project, that if he's been locking with one female, so just see.
So what will the hypo on top of the DG do? I hear that theme a lot in your pairings. What gets you excited about that?
It's just to see the male hypo DG I have.
Can you show them to us?
Yeah,
Weird at night.
yeah.
They're gonna get antsy.
No. Yeah, I'll show you. Ooh, actually, hey.
Yeah, take it easy. I saw that. You're all right.
He's locked up with that clown.
Oh, definitely don't pull him then.
Yeah, but yeah. I put him in. It's so funny. I just put him in there before we started this, and they're locked up right now.
Well, they're enjoying the show, you know?
Yeah. But it's just the interaction between the two. I think that with lavender, because Billy showed me a lavender hypo, and once I seen that, I was like, oh, DG's got to go into it. So
what did the lavender hypo do? That seems
purple.
like it would just wash everything
purple.
out.
It was purple. The yellows were purple and the whites were purple. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Man, I gotta look that up, because I've been wondering I've got a hypo girl that's going to be mature next year, and I've got a hypo male. He's breeding, and I've got a het hypo banana. She's breeding already. And then all my lavender projects snakes get mature next season. I'm not breeding any of them this year. They're ready. They'll all be ready to go next season. Man, I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Have you seen an ultra glow before, where it's the ultra male and hypo together?
No.
That's nice too. if you see that, you can kind of imagine what lavender and hypo look like together.
Yeah, because I got a big man. I got a mean ultra male girl. God, she's mean. I don't know if you saw the one that took a swipe at my face, man. That one, woo, she's mean. I just have to watch out. I got to work with her some. But this year, I've got her paired up with Pieds this year. Last year, she produced double het ultra male clown. So I got an ultra male clown double het project.
Yeah, that's something I can't wait. That's something I can't wait for, because my ultra male is pos het. I have a male ultra male that's pos het pied, but he's a picky breeder, and I want to prove him out next year to at least. I have a normal pied in my grow up rack that should be ready coming up this winter, and I plan on trying to prove him out, because I put him to a lesser het ultra male. And with lesser, when you have het pied, it shows better, like the train tracks show better.
Oh yeah.
And my ultra, I have them over there. His babies, the two ultra males I kept, they, like, you can see it in their pattern that it's dragged, and you can see kind of so I'm like, he's got to be.
Right, you got to take a shot with him, yeah.
Yeah, got to be. So I tried to put him to some pies this year, but I had him at a friend's house, and stopped eating because we were doing a joint pairing with pies, and he stopped eating because he feeds live and I feed frozen thawed.
Yeah.
As soon as he got back home, I put him back in his tub, smashing food. So next year it'll be the year that I try.
I gotcha.
Anybody's best triple recessive.
Yeah, Morph Minded says, what's anybody's best triple recessive pairing? So do you have any triple recessives yet?
Other than the one that I just picked up from Justin, that's possible triple het, and then I wasn't expecting to see that. So I mean, that's triple right there. That's hypo, DG, and so it's chocolate. So it's a chocolate pastel DG hypo to a inchy citron clown.
So yeah, and those are all visual. So yeah, if they go, then you're 100% triples. Ooh, nice. Mm-hmm. And so to answer Morph Minded's question, I only have one set. So there's my best triple pairing. It's a VPI Xanthic. These are all hets. VPI Xanthic, lavender, and pied is what I've got. So the lavender VPI snow is what I'll be aiming for. But even, I get thinking of all the possibilities of pairing them together. Clearly, hitting the triple visual is my tiny odds, lottery kind of winning odds. But to think that the same clutch could have a pied, a lavender, and an Xanthic siblings is pretty cool too, man. I like the idea of that.
I wonder what a snow ultra male would look like. So that'd be lavender VPI and ultra male. Because I guarantee it, ultra male and lavender are gonna go so nice together, and people are gonna be shocked by it. And if
what do you see him doing? Bringing out the peaches and the pinks a lot? You think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think lavender is gonna give it an extra purple to the ultra male. Now it might mess up the yellow, but I think that with the white, it's gonna bring that white that would be white, it'll make it purple.
Yeah, that's the stuff. I've got two visual lavenders. They'll both male and female, both of them het pied. So I've got lavender het pied to lavender het pied next year. But that male lavender het pied, I could breed to my female pied, and then I could get visual pieds, het labs. But I could put him to. I'm trying to think of what to do with the female ultra male next year, or if I just want to pair her to a het ultra male and try and get more ultra visuals to work with, which sometimes the het armies are great, but every now and again you just need some visuals,
See, my thing is I'm trying to breed to be able to sell the mom. So like the pastel, because it's from Justin, it's the first snake I bought from Justin. She'll probably always be here, but like the so like the visual pies to stay, but eventually I want to be able to replace the mom with a daughter that's visual. So right. Like my het puzzles that I have, visually get some female puzzles about a year and a half, breed them the last time, then sell them the summer of after,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So then I want to be like Ozzy, always upgrading my genetics, but I also want to go my own route that people like. I want to be different. Like I don't see a lot of people trying to do the, you know, ultra male lavender because they're both albino complex.
Right.
But like I was talking to Billy, I would wonder what a VPI Exantic and a Marcus Jane VPI Exantic would look like together, seeing that they're not compatible. Would it make spots? Would you have a Dalmatian? Like what would happen?
I don't know. Yeah. Well,
You
and
know?
that's the amazing thing about this hobby. Like just from a simple number statistical angle, we're mathematically just scratching the surface. There's so many things that we don't know, and that's even if we've already discovered all the genes that there are, which we know good and well. We haven't done that.
There's
At
new
all.
ones coming out all the time,
All
every
the
year.
time. All the time. So yeah, that's one thing. I want to go back to the breeding to sell the mom concept, because for somebody like me that at the moment doesn't mean I won't scale up at some point, doesn't mean I won't find an extra 5 hours a day in my life to take care of another, 100 snakes, but at the moment I can't. I have to look at it as both the hobby and the part that gets me excited, but also the part of what is that rack space worth and what's the value of it, and how do I make sure that that's protected? And Sampson, you and I were talking about some of the restaurant days when we were talking last night. Mm-hmm. I can remember pitching to a regional manager that I had at a kind of big box casual store. I worked for this company for about 10 years. And I said, we need to put a TV over here in the corner. And he goes, unless that TV, and I can't remember the exact amount he said, he goes, unless you could tell me how that TV is going to make me $13,000, $13,256.28. And I was like, okay, I get that you're telling me no, but what are you talking about? And he goes, every square foot in this restaurant has a value. And if you take butts out of the seats, you better figure out how you're going to pay for them. And that taught me that every square inch has a value, and how you use it is important. And where that value and use overlaps a person's passion and desire for a hobby versus a business, and that spectrum we were talking about earlier, that all plays into it. I'm not there yet, but this breeding season, if it goes the way I think it will, I'm going to have to start making those kinds of decisions, because, I mean, short of converting the whole garage, which is another, I don't know, I'd spend another $15,000 doing that. Not to mention, I'd probably spend 30 grand converting this garage and buying more racks. It's not in the cards. Like, my space is where I need to work in, and it's plenty big. I thought 20 snakes was plenty. There's 50 in there now, and there's about to be, I should have, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 70 hatchlings this year too. So I got learning to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same with me. My main thing is, if I go to sell the moms, is to buy other racks, not to buy other snakes, but housing.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't sell a mom and be able to buy a rack, I'm not selling the mom. So it's not about the money for one, but at the same time, I know there's value. So like my pastel double het girl that lays 11 eggs, that's $5,000 if I go to sell her, 5 to 7. And if you don't want to pay it, I'll keep it and keep breeding her.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, I'll keep the value, or you can pay me the value. Yeah. Yep. I hear you.
And it's ridiculous, because Ozzy was saying it too. He said, 11 egg girl, that's rare. 11 to 12 eggs, over 10. He was like, and when I go to sell them, it's $7,000 for, whatever it is, even if it's just a single het. He said, because those 12, it's guaranteed 12 eggs every year.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. And I mean, you buy that animal and you buy a visual double recessive, then you're cooking double hets the whole time.
Even with the pastel, if I put the double or the DG hypo to her, that's 100% double hets, possible double het, and then it's 12 eggs or 11 eggs. You know, so
before I went crazy this year buying the whole operation from another guy, my plan was actually to only buy one snake this year, and it was going to be a male.
That's everybody's plan.
Well, I know, but I had I knew it was going to be a male clown pied, and that was going to be It's because that's what I have the most of hets wise. It's what I could sell guaranteed double hets of. And I like both of them. They're tried and true, and we could still do a whole lot more with them. But I wanted to get to that double recessive, and I still kind of do, but I'm strongly on hold on any purchases right now.
Have you seen Justin's peach, the peach gene that he came out with like 4 years ago?
No, I'm not familiar.
I have a female, what is it, fire peach het clown that I've been raising up for 3 years that I'm breeding.
Really?
And when I was at Justin's and I seen the super form, it got me excited again. So,
Ooh.
and the only snake that tagged me, and it actually left a scar on me. She and her daughter's mean too, so I should have known. But as soon as I opened the tub, I was so excited. It was the first tub I opened, just smack, got me right on my thumb right here. And
oh man!
And like I'm like, oh my god, Justin's snake bit me. What do I do? And I'm looking at Justin like, I'm not gonna move, My bad.
Yeah.
And he's just laughing, and I'm like, oh my god, oh gosh, I'm freaking out. But,
so that was at his facility that it bit you?
Yeah, he had the VPI or VIP, all his VPI Patreon members a couple months ago come down. We got to see his facility, and then there's a rat breeder around the corner from him where he gets his rats that we got to see also.
Oh, cool. Gotcha.
I was there with Anton from High Desert and a couple other people. So it was nice.
Yeah,
actually, I remember when Anton only had 2,500 followers on his Instagram, and now it was my first time meeting him in person at Justin. He's like, bro, I don't feel it, but I'm actually famous. Like, I'm really famous. People come up and like, can I get your autograph, famous? And I'm like, yeah, good, man, you made it. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, it made me smile real hard because to me, I remember him as Coach. Like everybody called him Coach. Yeah. His pet, what was it? The super. So he had a sumo pie. He said that's what put me on the map. And now it's like, no, what put you on your map is your hard work on your YouTube. And
that's
stuff.
right. It's him. Yeah.
Because it was I was kind of starstruck. Like, oh,
he sampled one of my or made a clip from the show, a short, and put it up on his channel. And we're totally cool. But I definitely messaged him. I was like, hey, I'm great that you love my content. Use it all you want, but say my name. You got 12,000 followers, man. Like, help me out. And he was very, very cool. He was like, yeah, you're right. I should have done that. And he posted a whole thing about it. But I was like, the dude likes my content. I'm like, yes. And I was like, where's my link? Tag me. Give me something, man.
Because me and him had a thing together where it was me, him, and somebody else. The group's no longer, and some of the people in the group, they all got out of it, but he was like, I'm gonna really start doing it. And this is before COVID. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna really start doing this YouTube stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it with you. I didn't do it, he did it, and next thing you know it, he's at almost 20,000 followers on Instagram, and here I am breaking almost 3, and I'm like, I should have did it with them. And it's still not too late, but it's just I don't feel that I have the content here right now, and I don't want to keep doing what everybody else is doing, where it's like, oh yeah, I'd rather just do egg cutting videos, that type of thing.
For me, and this is just me, and this is a one person sample, I would, if it's something you think you want to do, I would just start. Believe it or not, you'll find your own niche. You'll find your own audience. It's really the people. And I realize that Anton can put the same snake, post snakes or have however many thousands of snakes he has or whatever. But you'll find what connects with your audience, and then you'll be able to cultivate it. I mean, it's still blowing. We had 55. By the way, we hit a new record of number of people watching tonight. Like,
great.
And what's really cool is as you find that, and as you find your groove, and you find the people that you want to interact with, whether it's a show or collaborate with or however, you start to attract them, and like. This whole weird thing happens, man. It's amazing. I get what you're saying when you're like, what am I really going to make content about? I still don't know, but it comes to me. I'll tell you that. Like, I figure it out. So if it's an itch you want to scratch, I would say to start and go after it,
Yeah. And see, you, Anton, GP, Garshawn.
Yep.
You guys have and I do too. But it's just that, especially Anton, like we got to his facility, he had me recording on the cell phone. Hey, I'm at Justin's
Oh
facility.
yeah.
I'm here. Like I'm like, man, you got that one take. Just yeah, blah blah blah. Got it. Turn the phone off. Let's go look at these snakes now.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah, you
oh,
do.
here I am with my camera. Like, yeah, just one more exotics. I'm here. No, reset. Like, so.
I filmed a video today, and I forgot I hadn't taken off my work shirt, so I got my chef coat on, and I was like, I don't care. That was a good take. I'm just gonna call it out because I did like the intro, and I was like, after the intro, I'll be like, I don't care. Costume change doesn't matter to me, but that comes with it. Again, it comes with just starting. Like,
And see, that's part of you too. Maybe somebody wants to see you in a chef coat. Oh, look, I just got home. I'm knocking out this video. I'm not even gonna change.
Yeah.
Got flour in your beard or on your face,
well,
or something. Like it'd be like, oh, my bad.
I won't tell you what it is, but and no pun intended, I do have something cooking on that topic. And then I should have it in a month or so, but I got a little gimmick around that coming, but I'll let that be for right now. So tell us what's your, so what's amazing is we've been at this 75 minutes already, which is fantastic. Guys in the audience, women, ladies in the audience, anybody, if there's any topics you guys want to cover, let us know. We'll definitely get with you on it. And yeah, Gershon, speaking of him, says, tell people all the time it's about your journey on YouTube. And that's definitely what I tell people.
It's crazy because he's been doing YouTube for like 10 years.
I tell everybody, man, and I told him to his face, if y'all watch the most recent video I put up, I tell him many times on that video, we did a video together, that just went live yesterday. Man, he works so hard in the hobby for himself, for everybody else. He works hard to put other people over. He's got 2 seasons of 2 different shows just for 2 different, for people with different levels of followings and this and that, man. And just a great dude, man. I definitely want to work together with him one day, like in person.
It's so funny. The first time I met him was at Tinley in 2018, and nobody knew who I was because, like, I never really put my face on my Instagram. So I'm there, and one of my friends, he's not in the hobby anymore. His name was Sean, was a ball python collector, and I had all his gear on, like. I had his hat on, I had a shirt on, so everybody just thought I was a fanboy of his.
Yeah.
So like it was funny. Gershon hit me up after Tinley, was like, "Bro, I didn't know that was you." He was like, "I thought you were just one of the fanboys with Sean." He was like, "I didn't know you were just one more. You didn't have a shirt on or anything." And I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." Like, because my first Tinley, I was just in shock. Like I was starstruck. And not just the amount of people and the amount of snakes.
Yeah.
Just was like.
I haven't been to Tinley. That's how it was at Daytona. Like when I pulled up and I was like, all right, where do we go in? And I was like, there's a line around
the building. Yeah.
Huge building, man. It's great. It was real cool. Actually, even just hanging out in the line. I mean, in the line was cool. So I agree with herp collectors. That's Michael. Michael will be on April 5th with me. And man, I got to really apologize too, because I will forget here in just a second. Chris Shelley has been really, really gracious. Y'all, BandSReptilia is up in the top corner, and I can't believe I muffed this all this time. I should have said this from the start. Talk about super chats and supporting. Chris at BandSReptilia is the sponsor of today's show, and I'm actually going to extend his contract because I'm an hour in before I'm bringing him up. But he's been very good to me, breeding about 145 ball pythons, various boas, Dumerals boas, blood pythons, Australian pythons, pine snakes, bull snakes, Mexican black king snakes, and he's also the distributor for the chipper in Pennsylvania. Check out BandSReptilia if you got a shot. And Chris, I owe you one more, man. It got away from me tonight. My apologies. But you see his logo up in the top there. And he's really brought a lot of value to me as a partner to me, and I definitely want to do that for him. So I would take it as a favor if y'all check him out, please, and thank you. And I'll add his links in the description. Michael from Herp Collectors will be here, but he says, just get out there and mess up. And that's exactly right, man. I go back to the music analogy. Like, every musician should like have a horrible garage band and then go to an open mic and be terrible and be terrified. And then like, you know, after you're in it and going after it and on the third or fourth time you're on stage, suddenly like you nail it and the crowd goes nuts and it's the best. Oh man, it's the highest high I've ever felt, man. It's the most amazing feeling. I mean, it's like, Sampson, you'll get this. It's like cooking on a Friday night when everything goes the way that it's supposed to. They can't sink you no matter how many people they sit. Your expo's on fire. You're killing it. Everybody's communicating. Nobody's screwing around. And that's the music version of it. And that's what you get when not you personally, when anybody goes out and tries it long enough. So Phil's a musician. He knows what I'm talking about. He says, "Oh man, that's an experience." He knows what's up. So do you use? Somebody asked, and I forgot. I got on another track, and it went off on me. But do you use an ultrasound? No. So what are you looking for when you're breeding? What size are you getting your females to? That's another thing somebody asked. What's your angle for your breeding seasons?
Now, in the beginning, it was 3 years. That's why 2 of my females, they were 3 years before. But those females, I waited 3 years, laid 10, 11 egg clutches. But it just depends. I try, it's around anywhere from 12 to 1500 grams.
Yeah.
Is my minimum.
Yeah.
But I'll start pairing at 11.
You will.
I'll start pairing at 1,000. Yeah, because I've noticed if they're at that where they won't eat, I'll try to pair them and see if that'll knock them to eat.
Oh, to start eating.
Yeah, because just try something new, because I have hit that 1,000-gram wall, and I can't say every time, but most of the time, if I throw a male in there, even if he doesn't lock with her, it entices her to eat if she's ready to breed.
Wall. Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed that. So what I'm looking for is the food response. So 2 years in a row, I've noticed, because when I go in to check, it's usually like 15, 20 minutes after I feed. If they're going again, like they're going after me, because my snakes will go after me when I open the tubs up.
Yeah.
Especially if it's feeding day. Then I'll know, like, because most of the time my females won't eat twice. Two smalls. Even my 2,700-gram female eat just one small rat.
Yeah.
But when it's that time of the breeding season, they'll eat. They'll just keep eating. And I know by personality, when I'm opening the tubs, it's like, okay, you're hungry again. Let me pair you after, because I like to feed, wait a day or two, pair, and then usually they'll be locked up anywhere from 12 hours, and I've had it to where it's been 4 days.
Right.
And then I'll feed again. So usually it's usually a 5 to 7 day period, especially when it's breeding season. I'll feed. If they'll eat, I'll feed. I don't, unless like I see her getting obese, real heavy, I'll just keep feeding. And that's my main thing, is that in the tail wag. All my breeders, when I put the male in, they'll scent. I don't know if you noticed that, but like you'll open the tub after you put the male in, and there be just like,
it's the whole wall. I mean, it's a wall of smell, man. It's the whole room. Yeah.
And I look at that, and then I can almost, if it's far enough, because like I missed the ovulation with my pastel calico het red exantic. I put her to my high OD inchy vanilla yellow belly, and I missed her ovulation, but because how her tail is sitting from the bottom half is sitting, I could tell. And she's been off food for 3 weeks, and she's I've noticed that pastels will just eat, and just pastel females are just,
they seem, my biggest one's a pastel fin. She's yeah.
So that is the tail wagging, the food response, and then I'm looking for the sunken tail. So like if you miss the ovulation or something, you'll see it. It'll be like a line in the tail of the snake, and by the cloaca,
Yeah.
You'll see it; it'll be sunk in, and you'll know. But main thing with
Does
me
it
is the
stay that
ovulation.
way after ovulation, or is that just during ovulation?
Just I've had it after and just during, so
Yeah.
it's based on the snake, to be
Yeah. I've
honest
been
with you.
looking. I'm like, I hear about this tail sink. I need to learn
Oh,
about that, you know?
and when it happens, just like when you see your first ovulation, you're like, okay, yeah, that's an ovulation. Like
Yeah.
that's not just a big meal.
Yeah.
But that's my main thing. I'm not big enough at the moment, and like, yeah, it would be nice if I wanted to do just the Desert Ghost hypo to everything in my collection, so then I don't overdo him. But I have enough firepower to where I can mix things up if I need to. So it's I'm not worried about an ultrasound machine until I get it over 150 females, because then at that time it's more of I want more females than I have males, but I want just enough males to go to three females.
Right. Exactly.
So
Do you have you bred enough, or do you feel like you would know like what percentage of your girls go each year that you plan for them to? Like, do you feel like you're missing with the ultrasound?
no, because one thing I've noticed too, especially with my Inchy Clown and my Pastel, once they go, you can pretty much guarantee next year that they'll go that same time. So
Yeah,
like, so this male right here that I put in there, if I would be wasting him if I would have paired him any earlier, because
gotcha.
this is, so within the next 4 weeks, this probably would be the pairing that would make her ovulate if I didn't already miss it from last week,
Yeah.
because she won't lock up unless like it's time for her to go, because she's mean, for one, mean as hell. And like, I'll throw a male in there and you would think she was a male, because she would fight him. She'd be like, no, I'm nope,
Mhm.
get out my tub,
No, I
it's my
had I had two that were like that. A matter of fact, I thought they were. If I didn't know for a fact, because I'd seen them walk with different animals, if I didn't know for a fact that they weren't male and female, I
yeah.
thought that they were at it, and then 3 weeks later, boom, happy as can be.
Another good thing, or another thing that I noticed with the females, is after they ovulate, they won't lock up again. So don't keep, if she just goes off food and she stops breeding,
Yeah,
you're golden.
it's
Like,
there.
you're,
Yeah,
yeah, don't worry about it. Because I mean, I kept my first year, I kept putting them in after, even I'm like, okay, maybe they're locking up when I'm not paying attention.
exactly. Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
let me.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I was doing that. Oh, this is the ovulation shed, and then, oh no, this is the ovulation shed. No, this is the ovulation shed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I've got my note board up now. Like I'm tracking them. I'm like ovulation pre-shed, and I'm like maybe that wasn't it, but I'll track it. Um, let's
I've
see.
noticed the best thing to do with this is just wait. Um, I'm impatient, and what I've noticed is, just if it happened, it's gonna happen no matter what.
You can't
If it's
change it.
not,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
so
I often say ball pythons teach me patience.
patience.
Like
Oh yeah.
my whole life and my whole career has been restaurants, and there's nothing patient about restaurants. I need this run now. I need this cooking now. Ticket times at this, that table turn needs to do this. And it's that for 14 hours a day, not with ball pythons. And I love it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they're eating. It's like, oh man, it's been 15 minutes. Come on. And I gotta make
Oh,
sure you get it down so I don't, because man, the worst smell is coming in, and especially if it's in your house. Worst smell is that dead rat next couple of days, and then being in that heat.
yeah, you got to check it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Up to you if you want to talk about this or not. That's up to you. So, mainly more so, Samson, what issues did you have with your incubator last year, and what did you do or have to do to resolve the issue?
So my incubator was running 2 degree, well, anywhere from 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees hot. And I thought I was running my temps at 90, and I was really running them at like 92. And I didn't notice, I and I didn't notice that the Inkbird actually has a lock on it too. I don't know if my son knocked it up to 90, because I usually only run it at 89.9. But actually my fiance told me, she was like, "Hey, your incubator's at 90.8." And I'm like, maybe I do run it at 90, because I leave my incubator on all year. So I was like, maybe I was running that tip last year. But come to find out that my sensor also was off.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was, how I fixed the problem was, I got a sensor push that hooks up to a gateway. So there's a sensor push sitting on top of my rack there's a sensor push in the middle of my rack in one of these tubs to check the heat in the tub, and then I have one
And
in
for
the
people that
incubator.
don't know, those are little squares, the little literal sensors hooked up to your Wi-Fi that will give you an alert if the temperature changes. Excuse me. Yeah, those little things, and you can get a bunch of those, and then you have to get a gateway that
You
distributes
don't
the signal,
you don't
right?
you don't have to get a gateway. If you get a gateway, then you're able to check your sensors outside of your house. The
Yes.
gateway makes it so it hooks to your Wi-Fi, and then makes it so you
Excuse
can
me.
be
The
anywhere in the
sensors are
world.
Bluetooth, so if you go away, you're not going to
Yep.
get the alarm on your Bluetooth, right? Yeah.
Correct.
So how
But
many of those are you running? You're running one in your incubator, one on your rack.
and then I have one in the monitor enclosure. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 altogether. I have
Wow.
5. I have an extra one that I just have because for my indoor for my other stuff. So
Yeah. And so the sensor pushes. Is there anything you would improve? I've never used one, but I am familiar with them. Obviously, now from talking about it. So the gateway is what, about $200, and each sensor is about what, 70, 80 kind of thing.
I want to say each sensor was $49.99, and the gateway was about $200.
Yeah, yeah. Anything you about them, or anything you think that they don't do that you don't like?
I just wish I knew how to calibrate them. I don't know how to do that.
So you
I've had
feel like
mine
they
for two
might be off
years.
a little bit?
No,
No.
the same. Once I change, because I have 2 Herpostat 6s, and then I have a Herpostat 2 on my incubator. Once I change, because the 6s come with 6 probes,
Right.
and I have a 6 on the monitor enclosure, but I'm only using 2 spots. One's for the ambient temperature and one's for the hot spot. And then I'm only running 2 on this one. I do half at the bottom, half on the top. So I had extra probes. So, and when I put that probe in there, the sensor push was dead on with the probe, or with
Yeah.
the Herpostat. So my only thing is, I don't know if the humidity with the ones in the tub, that's the only thing that I'm worried about, is that if the humidity is throwing off the sensor, because I still spray. I just don't spray as heavy as I used to.
Right. Right.
So
Well, and I think this is totally non-expert. This is just my opinion. I would think anything under what the sensor push is reading is fine. It's when you're going over that
yeah.
you're worried about. And obviously, I mean, to a point, you can't freeze them. But if it's a degree or two under, not nearly as big of a concern as going over.
I was using I have a heat gun too.
Yes.
And I was using the heat gun in the monitor's enclosure to check the hotspot, and it was reading the same as the probe. So I know that they're working right.
I
I
was just
just want
saying,
100% make sure that they're working right.
yeah.
So
I was going to say, I mean, if you get 2 or 3 redundant readings, you're probably
good,
like,
yeah.
you're probably there. So,
But like I said, these are like a dream of mine. So it's always like, it's different because like I hear people saying like, oh yeah, this is something I wanted to do. This is, and it's like, well, I understand. And then next year they're gone.
yeah.
It sucks because it's like, man, I sat here, I poured out all, oh yeah, it's a month straight of talking about snakes, or like helping somebody where they're like, oh, so what do you do during breeding? You sit there for a week, 2 weeks, and then you talk every other month, and then you'll see that they're breeding, and then like next thing you know it, they're gone, and it's like, man, I put
Yeah.
all this effort, this time. I don't feel guilty about it because it helps me too, like to sharpen up, like, oh yeah,
I
89
know.
degrees on the incubator,
And I agree with that. Good teaching and good mentorship keeps you straight. And that's whether it's in ball pythons or any hobby. Good teachers are good operators usually. So, man, all right. And did I ask this earlier? Maybe not. What's the one animal you're looking to purchase this year? This is the big finish. Like what we gotta have a big wow factor here.
Man, if it was anything, I will, to be honest with you, I would want a powerhouse desert ghost female. Like I
Yeah.
would want I mean like 4 or 5 genes stacked with desert ghost pop, like het. pied or het clown.
I mean, that's what, 6, 8, 10 grand.
Don't even know.
Yeah.
Because Desert Ghost is just, to me, I'm like Austin. I'm Team Ultramel. I love Ultramel. It's funny because the guy that BP, which I went to Tinley with, they called him Mr. Ultramel,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "What is Ultramel? What is this?"
Yeah.
And then it was crazy because Ozzy actually at that show came from behind his table and was walking around with us, and so this high intensity OD that I got from Chris, I want to say it's Hernan. We were sitting at the table, and I'm looking and I'm like, "What is high OD?" And Ozzy's sitting there explaining this to us, and he's like, "Yes, Chris actually bought high intensity OD from me, so I know that these animals, and if I were you, I would buy that animal, because if that was me, I would have it listed for 3,500, not 2,500."
Mm-hmm.
So I waited until after the show. I went on Morph Market and I bought it, and that was the banana picture that you liked, the one where you were like, "Wow."
Yeah.
That was him. That was a baby of his, and
Yep.
like I was like, I'm so happy I went with what Ozzy said. Like,
And what was that?
that
That was a banana orange stream leopard.
It was a banana. So it was a banana fire, inchy, OD, yellow belly, probable pastel.
Yeah, just madness.
And
man.
he didn't throw any. He threw all inchies. So I'm kind of wondering if he's a super inchy, super OD, because I know he's a super OD.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's a super inchy, super OD, fire, vanilla, or no, vanilla, yellow belly, vanilla, yellow belly. Yeah. So it's high OD, inchy, vanilla, yellow belly. I think he's a double super, to be honest with you, but we'll see this season.
I would say you'll find out in due time. So, Sampson, I want to tell you thank you for being here. I know that we spent a little time last night making sure that everything was cool and was good. I'm really, really happy to have you on, and I'd love to do it again. You got a lot of knowledge to share and a lot of experience, man.
I appreciate you, and thanks for being the first person to ask me to be on a podcast.
Yeah, I didn't even know, man. Yeah, absolutely, dude. You fit it. Like I said, it didn't even feel like it was some interview. Like it felt like we're hanging out, and that's what I've always wanted this to be. And I think that's why there's still 45 people here. And it's really kind of cool because they got their own conversation going here in the comments too. Like I dip into it sometimes, but like they're ripping along on YouTube censorship over here on the right, which is amazing, you know. And I think that's cool. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. So I want to tell the audience, thank you very much. Before any of y'all wrap up, be sure check out Sampson's page over on Instagram. What's the hurdle you're trying to get over right now?
5. I want to hit
5,000. So whether you get over that hurdle tonight or not, you're doing something right to even be talking about it. So congratulations on that. Everybody, also, please check out BandSReptilia. That's Chris Shelley. He's been a killer dude for me, and he's doing amazing stuff. Just check out his Morph Market page. You'll see what he's dealing in. Many, many different species as well. And he's, again, just if my personal yes, there's a transaction here, but if my personal account has anything to do with it, like I say, he's been a very good dude. Also, this week, I'll have a video coming out of all of my pairings this season. And I've been fortunate enough to have people ask me to get on like a wish list or a wait list. Mark at 403 Fauna gave me the idea today. So thank you for the content inspiration. I'll have a video out of all of my pairings, and you guys can just email me. You don't have to have Patreon. You don't have to have one of my NFTs. You tell me you want to be on one of the early release lists, by all means. That's what I want to do. So thank you all very much. 46 at the closing bell. Unreal. Still, I'm grateful. I'm humble. I'm appreciative.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Sampson, thank you so much. We'll do it again next week. Stick around for just a second, Sampson. I will talk to you all later. Everybody watch your ears because this – oh, no, I got it right tonight on the volume. Thank you all very much. I'll see you next time. Cheers, everybody.